Like if you found the video valuable. The fog came every night at exactly 11 p.m. Not 10:59, not 11:01, 11 o'clock on the dot, like clockwork. It would roll in from the lake behind the woods, spreading like spilled milk across the empty streets of Greystone. Dense, silent, ominous. Aaron Blake hadn't been back to Greystone in over 10 years, not since the incident. But when he got the call that his childhood friend, Peter Hargrove, had vanished without a trace, he had no choice. The fog was waiting when he arrived. Aaron parked outside his late father's house, now his by inheritance, and killed the engine. The street was dead quiet. Street lights blinked uselessly through the thick fog, casting long, distorted shadows. The house stood unchanged, as though time had held its breath since he'd left. He opened the front door, half expecting the ghosts of his childhood to greet him. Instead, it was silence. Familiar, suffocating. He tossed his duffel on the couch and sat down, pulling out the file he'd brought, Peter's missing person report. Local police hadn't found anything. No signs of struggle, no notes, no digital footprints since the night he disappeared. That night, the fog had rolled in right on time. The next morning, Aaron stopped by the Greystone Police Department. Sheriff Lorraine Maddox greeted him with a raised eyebrow. Well, if it isn't Aaron Blake. Sheriff, he nodded. I want access to Peter's case file. You here as a friend, or as a former detective? Aaron stared at her. I'm here because something's not right. And I think it has to do with that damn fog. She sighed and handed over the file. You're not the first to say that, she muttered. Aaron interviewed Peter's neighbors. None had heard or seen anything unusual. Except one. Mrs. Delaney, a widow in her 70s, lived directly across from Peter's place. I saw him, she said, voice shaking. Just before the fog came. He was in his front yard, talking to someone. Someone? Aaron pressed. She nodded slowly. A little girl, in a white dress. I blinked, and she was gone. Aaron's skin prickled. What else? He asked. Mrs. Delaney hesitated. She wasn't real. I don't know how I know that, but I just knew. Back at his father's house, Aaron reviewed security camera footage from Peters Street. At exactly 11 p.m., the fog rolled in. The camera's clarity dropped, but not before it captured something that made Aaron's breath hitch. A small figure, short, barefoot, white dress. The footage glitched. When it cleared, both Peter and the figure were gone. That night, Aaron waited. At 10:45 p.m., he took a flashlight and stepped outside. The fog was already gathering at the edge of the woods. 11 p.m. It hit like a wave, thick, cold, and eerily silent. Aaron walked toward the lake. Each step felt heavier. The world narrowed to the beam of his flashlight. Shadows twisted at the edge of his vision. Then he heard it. A whisper. Help me. He spun around. Peter? The fog pulsed. More whispers. Louder now. Dozens of voices layered atop one another. It's cold. She's coming. Don't look at her eyes. Aaron backed away, heart pounding. Then he saw her. The girl in the white dress. She stood just ahead, barefoot on the grass, staring straight at him. Who are you? Aaron demanded. She didn't answer. She only smiled. And behind her, shadows moved. Figures. Dozens of them. Faceless, silent, reaching. Aaron ran. The next day, he returned to Sheriff Maddox. There's something in that fog. You saw the girl? She asked. He nodded. She's not alone. Sheriff Maddox leaned forward, voice low. There've been stories going back decades. Every few years, someone disappears. No patterns, no bodies, just fog and whispers. Why hasn't this been investigated? Because anyone who gets too close either disappears or goes mad. Aaron clenched his jaw. I'm not letting Peter become another ghost story. He dug into old case files. The disappearances stretched back 60 years. All around November. All near the lake. Witnesses often reported the same thing. A girl in white. The fog. The whispers. One case stood out. Margaret Ainsley, 1963. 8 years old. Drowned in the lake. Her body was never recovered. Her mother swore she saw Margaret walking in the fog a week after the funeral. Aaron drove to the lake. It looked peaceful in daylight, the fog a distant memory. He walked the shoreline, searching for clues. Near an old dock, he found a rusted music box half buried in the mud. He turned the crank. A soft lullaby began to play. Then the air turned cold. And the fog returned, early. Voices surrounded him. Find me. Aaron turned, the girl standing behind him now. Who are you? He asked again. She tilted her head. You remember me? No, he said. I don't. Yes, she whispered. You left me. He stared, realization crashing down. The incident, when he was 12, his younger cousin had drowned in the lake while they were playing. He'd told everyone she slipped. But that wasn't true. They'd argued. He'd turned his back, and she wandered into the water. He was too late. Maggie, he whispered. She smiled. Now you see. The shadows closed in. Aaron dropped the music box and ran. The whispers grew louder, pleading, accusing, screaming. He stumbled, fell, and darkness. When he woke, he was in his father's living room. It was morning. His clothes were soaked, mud on his boots, but no sign of the music box. No fog, no girl. Sheriff Maddox found him later that day. You all right? He nodded, hollow-eyed. I saw her. Maggie, my cousin. Maddox sat down. You think this is about guilt? No, he said. This is something real. All those people, they're stuck. Because they weren't heard. Because no one believed them. She handed him a file. You're not done yet. That night, Aaron went back to the lake. This time, he brought the old music box, a flare gun, and a recorder. At 11 p.m., the fog arrived. And so did she. Maggie, he said. I'm sorry. She blinked. The other shadows paused. I was just a kid. But I should have saved you. The fog trembled. You were scared. Alone. I left you behind. Maggie stepped forward, tears in her eyes. You remember? I do. He held out the music box. She reached for it, and vanished. So did the shadows. And the fog lifted. Peter was found the next morning, unconscious but alive, by the lake. He had no memory of the past 3 days. But he did remember the fog. And the girl. Aaron left Greystone a week later. The fog never came back. But sometimes, on quiet nights, he still hears a lullaby in the distance. And the faintest whisper, thank you.